Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology, and today we are going to be doing the monthly reading for the sign of Capricorn. Now you can watch this video both from a rising and ascendant as well as Capricorn moon perspective. Now when you're watching this from a moon perspective, you have to understand that this video will give you an indication as to what could be your emotional or mental resilience significances that are going to be coming into play, whilst rising ascendant is going to give you the physical manifestations, realizations, significances that are going to be coming into play for the month of March. So without further ado, let's look into the planetary positions and understand what are the planets claiming for you in the month of March. Now, folks, as you can see here, that your Lord is Saturn, the house Lord of your first house, and he is currently sitting in combustion in your second house in its own sign, of course, with Sun. Sun is going to be transiting into the third house later in the month on 14th of March, where he will get in conjunction with already debilitated Mercury. And this Mercury will be in retrograde motion from 14th of March onwards. Now, Venus and Rahu have been placed here. Both of them are actually in retrogression. Rahu, of course, remains in retrogression forever, but Venus is also sitting retrograded in your third house itself. First and foremost, what you got to understand is that with the combustion of this Saturn being the Lord of both first house as well as the second house, Lord is not a great thing in terms of period where you have to significantly push any kind of decision making. I would urge you to not make any kind of significant investments, new purchase, job switches, anything of that sort should take a backhold. In fact, if you are interested for me to give you a deep dive as to what is this transit of Saturn we bringing, urge you to please leave your comment there, and then I can of course put in a transit video as well, because your Lagna Lord is going to be transiting into your third house on 29th of March itself. It is important for you to note that during this phase of combustion, you could also feel some lack of energy, lack of enthusiasm, or in general, things not working out at the same pace and dignity which you are used to. There could be certain delays that might also come into play in terms of you getting your savings or probably getting your payments from somewhere. Things that you've been anticipating at a work front also could have certain delay and significant delay in the next couple of months. And thus, Capricorn, I shouldn't be teaching you this because you already understand the values of patience, persistence, and perseverance. That is something so innate to your mindset. Even if you're watching this video from a moon Capricorn perspective, that naturally comes in your mindset, in your behavior, but you will have to further stick it around from a moon Capricorn perspective. It is the end of Sadesati for you, and that is such a relief. But whilst this Saturn will enter into the sign of Pisces for the next couple of months, given the turbulences, given changes that are going to be happening in your third house, it is important for you to remain very cautious. You should not be jumping in terms of making any new start. Why am I saying that? Because at the end of the day, third house represents your own hard work. It represents your free will. It represents your efforts in a certain direction. And it is your Lagna Lord which is getting impacted currently in combustion and then moving into that placement. Now, whilst we are talking, that Sun's presence here is also interesting because he's the Lord of your eighth house coming into the second. So there could be certain issues within the family that could bring some sort of a turbulence, some sort of a concern for you. I'm not too skeptical or negative with Sun's placement into the second house. But yes, you definitely have to be watchful with respect to your communication, how you are expressing your thoughts, ideas. Even the food that you are consuming can be the source of a lot of negativity. And thereby, you'll have to be very cautious that you do not consume something that can risk your health. Remember, sixth Lord Mercury is sitting in debilitation and will get retrograded. So you will have to watch out for the kind of food you consume in this period and ensure that you remain healthy and not cause any troubles for yourself. At the same time, be watchful how you are articulating your thoughts, how you are communicating your thoughts to others within your family. Savings could be on a decline, but do not worry, you will bounce back in the next few weeks and months. So do not get panic stricken when it comes to any of those angles. In your third house, you have Mercury, which is currently in debilitation. It is the lord of your sixth house and your ninth house, your house lord of destiny, fortune, fate. And when that comes into debilitation, that becomes slight bit of a concern for us because you do not want things to not pan out for you in the way you want. However, there is a great thing that is happening at the same time. He's getting the cancellation of that debilitation thanks to the exaltation of Venus in the same house, which means that yes, there will be certain delays, there will be certain obstructions, there will be certain problems that will come your way, but you will bounce back and you will bounce back higher. And all of it is conspiring at the same time, at the same hour, with the combustion of Saturn, with the presence of Sun in the second house, debilitation of Mercury, retrogradation of Venus, with multiple planets being in the third house means you are going to be trying hard. You're going to try everything, but it will take some time. So do not have that loss of patience in you, or else it can become extremely tricky. Now, first and foremost, with Mercury being the lord of your sixth house, one bit is that we've touched upon our health aspect. Here we have to also understand that somewhere before the niche Banga can come into play and the retrogression of Mercury can impact you further, you will have to face some sort of an obstruction at your workplace too. If you're working in a job, in your day-to-day regimen, if you're connected in some sort of loans, litigations, any kind of legal matters that are bothering you, some sort of an obstruction will be there. There could be some sort of a communication gap. You have to be extremely watchful as to how you are expressing yourself to the corporate world in the formal environment, with respect to your siblings as well, in terms of your relationships to them as well. And we'll talk about Jupiter in a second. But anything and everything to do with your daily efforts, you will see some impact. As I mentioned a few minutes back, you might feel a sense of lethargy as well. Yet you will have to push through this period. You will have to cut through the chase and figure out that what are the different things you can try, how you can overcome your obstacles. Keep on trying until you succeed, because succeed you will, Capricorn. This Mercury is also giving an exalted aspect back to its ninth house. Your superiors, people at your workplace, your bosses, your fatherly figure in general will be supportive. Yes, Ketu's presence in your ninth house has been there, but understand, guys, there are almost 3 to 4 planets at one point in time in the last part of the month, 5 planets that will be giving an aspect from third house to your ninth. And then you have an aspect from Mars and Jupiter also continuously coming, which means there's such a heavy source of energy coming into the ninth house itself. At the same time, you have, whilst there is some positivity with this Mercury's aspect, you will have to be cautious with respect to the health of your father. If you are connected, associated, please try and spare some time to take care of their health as well. Do not overdo any kind of communication with your leadership. Do not overdo any kind of travel during this period of time as well. You might want to pace things out. Yes, travel can get hectic for people who are in those sort of professions as well, but it may not bear the results, especially in the first half of the month than the second. It'll be a mixed period for you from those angles. In fact, when we are talking about the presence of Venus, which is the lord of your 10th house and your 5th house, it is going 11 places and 6 places away to your 6th house. It is getting into exaltation, which is a great thing, getting an expansion through his subordinate Rahu. But he is coming into retrogression. The exchange with Jupiter is extraordinary, but his retrogression is going to bring in certain delays. And that is what I want you to understand. that this delay is not prominent. It is like the revving of the engine, the movement of the throttle, aggressive fashion before you can actually see the outcome of it. So keep consistent with your efforts. Do not let the ball slip out of your hand, and things are going to pan out positively, both with respect to your reputation, your respect, your career, your work front, as well as with respect to your creativity. You might feel loss of ideas, but you will bounce back. Now, Venus also rules your relationships. There could be some minor challenges that might come with respect to communication with your partner, with your loved one. Please be cautious on that front. I do not anticipate anything negative. There could be a slight break. They might have to travel away from you. There could be certain distancing of some sort, either emotionally, if you're watching this from a moon perspective, emotionally, or if you're watching from a Lagna ascendant perspective, in physical form as well, that could come into play, but it is not permanent. It is just a blip that is coming into play. However, if you're watching this as a parent, you must take care of the health of your children as well. It is extremely important for you to take precaution from that front. You are on the other side are going to be super enthusiastic if you are watching this as a student, appearing to put your best foot forward from your education perspective, from a competitive scenario in terms of your preparation and stuff. You are going to continue doing well in that space, folks. So I'm not too worried with respect to that. Jupiter, which is forming that exchange with Venus, it is sitting in your fifth house. He's the lord of your third as well as your 12th, sitting in your fifth. He's giving one of the most important aspects into your ninth house, keeping a lot of that negativity in control, some of the challenges that could have come from the non-benefic planets, the debilitated aspect of Venus, aspect of Surya, Sun, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu's presence himself. It's Jupiter along with that exalted aspect of Mercury, which is going to be extremely helpful for you. But again, I would want to repeat what I had said in the month of February as well. It's the lot of losses which is coming in a fifth. Some sort of turbulence could be there with respect to your fifth house aspects. You might want to be watchful with respect to your trading habits as well, in terms of your investment habits as well. And again, I cannot emphasize, please do not be making any big decisions during this period. Yes, Jupiter is going to help you if you are going to bring in some level of charitable action during this point in time. Some level of donation is going to help you, especially if you do that along with your loved ones, along with your kids, with your family, into a place of worship. That is going to be extremely positive. Even doing some sort of an activity towards kids, buying them sweets and just distributing to the kids, is going to be an excellent remedy for you Capricorns during the month of March. Think about it, and if you believe in it, go ahead and do that. This Jupiter, though, is giving a good aspect to your Lagna as well as to your 11th house. Yes, there will be delays, but gains will come through. You are going to sail through the motion over the course of this month. The debilitated aspect of Jupiter into your Lagna is not a bad one. I will not consider it to be negative, because it's the ninth aspect which is coming into play. So it is going to help you keep things intact. In fact, if you are watching this from a moon perspective, it's getting in trine with moon, which is a positive thing to happen. Last but not the least, your Mars, which is the lord of your fourth house and your 11th house, is sitting in your sixth. It is expecting you to put a lot of effort on a day to day basis. He is going to give you that energy. Third house and sixth house connection is coming out pretty strong. Capricorns, I don't need to be preaching you on this front. You are expected to put hard work in the month of March. And I know Capricorns would be wondering, Dave, we are always expected to do that. It's at the end of the day, you guys are ruled by Saturn, so I can't help it with that. But specifically in this period, I see success coming in for you from a competition perspective. You are going to find some gains at your work front in the second half or as you proceed ahead. But there will be positive outcomes for you there as well. You will overcome any kind of health related challenges. But if you see health issues coming into your family members, you will have to be a bit more cautious, because that probability I've already called out to your loved one or to your children. I think it is smooth period through the course of the month with respect to your relationships. You're going to do decently on that front. My only regard to you would be if you feel that there is it's the decision on certain matters that cannot be pushed beyond March has to be taken by you, then please take a call depending on your natal chart, because see, transit is going to give you a perspective 10, 20, 30% impact, but it's majorly your natal chart. It's dashas and antardashas that are going to give you a highlight as to what is the best approach, what is the best decision that you can be taking, and you must go with that mindset. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.